I'm going to give you a little tour of the set. As we know about Bridgerton, it's saucy.
I've never understood why.
And steamy. And everything else that you need to see happens upstairs.
It doesn't get more dramatic or dishier.
It's very all of those things that you would imagine. We've had an intimacy coach, which I've never had before in a job.
Daphne will not merely be in society, she will be leading it.
You keep them watching by having a balance between the and the
It's about love, it's about jealousy, it's about relationships, and it's quite nice to just be human about it, really.
This is not your granny's period drama.
Let it be known, if there's a scandal, I shall uncover it.
Lady Whistledown certainly stirs, can't say that word, but stuff up massively.
So please, after you. Hello, my name's Jonathan Bailey. I play Anthony Bridgerton on the new Netflix show Bridgerton, and I'm going to give you a little tour of the set. Come with me. Come this way. And just another day in Bridgerton life. There's always about 2 units going at any point. There's Skip, who's the best of the business, over there. Keeps everything in focus. Focus is important in the set of Bridgerton, because you might... Everyone's lining up here, as you can see, and what's amazing is we have like hundreds and hundreds of brilliant people who come forward and they create the whole world, and they're all the supporting artists. And with the design of Ellen, the costume is just insane, and all the headpieces and stuff. So everywhere you look, the design is just like completely on point. So we're completely spoiled every single day.
The Duke of Hastings, now known forevermore.
I'm playing Simon Bassett in Bridgerton, and he is a dark, shadowy, broken, mysterious, generous, intelligent, loving young man who has absolutely no idea how to bring those things together into any kind of workable cocktail, and instead is very much playing Ring of Fire with all of those liquors, and it's not a good place to be.
Though, Eloise, I do believe you will know what love feels like soon enough next season.
You think I have to follow in your footsteps, sister? Can there be a more dreadful fate?
We play 2 of the Bridgerton siblings. I play Anthony, who's the firstborn.
And I play Eloise, number 5.
Hey.
Hey. And Eloise is sort of the lovable rogue, I guess, of the family, quite brazen. And sort of, I think because of her place in the family, she will be the next daughter on the marriage market, but she's sort of far enough in that she's got room to find out what she wants.
Do you know what is an accomplishment? Attending university.
And I don't think it's anything that Daphne's sort of going through.
We're scribbling in that diary of yours.
And she writes and she smokes in the garden. She's a bit of a...
She's a rogue.
Yeah,
She's a maverick.
1813 rebel.
Yeah.
Dead fun.
You have no idea what it is to be a woman.
Daphne, you're a Bridgerton.
Would be easier if I were not.
Up north is Anthony, who is he's the firstborn, so he's bearing the weight of heritage and the whole. He has the responsibility of making sure that his sisters and brothers get married off to secure their future.
I had to find you a husband, sister. Now, be grateful it is done.
And works with his mum they have quite a tempestuous relationship. But he, like Eloise, is questioning very different things: what it is to be a man and what it is to be able to be there for other people and to make sure that you look after yourself at the same time, which I think is a very modern thing.
Do you think this is wise?
Whatever do you mean?
Colin is young, years from seriously thinking about marriage, and I would hate to think Marina is simply wasting her time she simply does not have, of course. That is all. Penelope is a very interesting character. She's really beloved by the fans of the books, so I felt a certain weight of pressure knowing I was going to play her. I would never bring scandal on you or our family, if that is what you ask. But I cannot condone your actions. And I was sort of terrified, and I knew the day the announcement was coming out, and I was like, what if they hate me? And they're like, she's totally wrong, but they couldn't have been sweeter. And yeah, I'm really determined to do her justice. She's a very clever girl. She's really ahead of her time. And I think you see lots of different sides of her, because with her family, she's very shy and held back. She's not really able to express herself. And then when she's with Eloise, she totally gets to chill out. And they're, 2 girls, again, both of them very ahead of their time. And then she's madly in love with Colin. So that's a big thing too.
All of you at one table, with the children.
I realise it may be unfashionable, but we like each other most of the time. Violet, the matriarch, she's a very warm character. She adores her children. She would defend them to the hilt. When we meet her, she is adamant about getting her children married off for love to an equal. She wants what she had in her marriage for her children.
Would it pain you to wear some colour, Your Grace? The London season is already terribly monotonous as it is. Must your wardrobe do the same?
I'm playing Lady Danbury. She's a dowager duchess. She has lots of money. She's a widow. She has no children. So in this society, she's about as free as a woman can get. But she's got the status, she's got the money, she's got that place in society where she's a game player in town. So if Lady Danbury is out in public, Lady Danbury is on. So she's on. So the costumes have to be on as well. And we've just got the most amazing design team for hair and makeup and costumes and everything, and beautiful makers as well. So we just gone for fabulous fabrics. We decided what sort of design shape we wanted. Obviously, it's got to be in the period, but then all of this show is in the period, but with schwang, and that goes for everything, from costume to casting to sets to whatever.
Ma, might you spare me a moment? I must have Cressida's opinion on some fabric. Her taste is impeccable.
When I got the job, before we started filming, there was like a 4-week period of fittings and wig fittings. I think I had like 5 different wigs before we found the right one, just getting the right colour and the right look. But it does half the job for you. The beautiful costumes and the beautiful hair and makeup. So yeah, it's been amazing.
It's like you discover your character as you're getting dressed, and as Claire puts up my hair or does the makeup, then it slots into place, and it's nice. It's a nice help.
Today you are here with me in the Bridgerton wardrobe truck full of these amazing, amazing costumes. So I am part of the Featherington family, and I will tell you, if you walked into a ballroom in 1813 London, you are going to notice these girls, because we have a serious colour palette. There is lots of citrus colours, so you've got your yellows, your greens. This is my sister Prudence's dress, like incredibly embellished, all hand-stitched flowers. This is another one of Prudence's. We do have a lot of pinks too, a lot of florals. But a rule with a Featherington dress is if you think you've done too much, add a little bit more. You want to get some bling. We've got little diamantes here in this dress, 3D flowers, silk ribbons, and then you can move over to the Bridgertons, who have a much softer, more romantic look. So these are some of Violet's dresses, and they're really dreamy and beautiful. They've made 4,000 individual costumes for this show, including every supporting artist has a bespoke handmade piece, and that's what makes the look of it so spectacular. This is one of my favourite dresses on the production. This is one of my sister Philippa's dresses, and this was we went for a garden party, and it has loads of flowers in the bottom, but they actually move around. They're loose. And this is another one. This is when we were at the ball where Cressida faints for the prince. So again, lots of florals, and Philippa's colours, there's a lot of green for her palette. So the 3 sisters are kind of green, orange, and I'm yellow. I'm a definite yellow. Fans of Julia Quinn's books will know that poor Penelope is described as looking like an overripe citrus fruit by Lady Whistledown. Not very nice. So she wears a lot of bright yellow, but you'll see what they have done with yellow dresses in the show is incredible. What I'm wearing today, each of the flowers are hand stitched. There's an embellishment room in the costume area, so everything is completely decorated. All the jewellery is made. On this show, every single costume you see has been handmade. Nothing is rented, which is so unusual, but it makes the look of the show so spectacular and so different. It's like kind of a punk take on Regency. So another amazing thing about the costumes on this job is something that you actually can't see on camera. So all of our corsets on this job were bespoke made by Mr. Pearl. You might not know who that is, but you may have seen Kim Kardashian's look at the Met Gala where she had that teeny tiny waist, or indeed Dita Von Teese, you know, the famous burlesque artist. Their courses were also made by Mr. Pearl, so it's like wearing art every single day, and it makes you stand completely differently, and it makes you really feel like you're in that era, the way you stand up. I will tell you, after 14 hours in one, you are quite happy to take it off, but during the day it adds so much to it, and you know, there's a lot going on under here. A lot going on.
Ellen Mirajnik and John Glazer did such an amazing job with the costumes. We really knew that costumes were going to be important to the show, like they are in every period piece. But with our show, we really wanted to elevate the costumes and bring in this kind of fresh, modern edge to everything that we do.
It will be the grandest wedding of the year. Tulips enough to fill the great room and the finest silks. Only the best. This is one of the favourites, I have to admit. And yeah, we're having loads and loads of fun kind of creating these looks that hopefully will be iconic, you know. What we're doing on this show is kind of zhuzhing it up a little bit. You know, the wig that I'm wearing at the moment is one of many. Queen Charlotte doesn't have any kind of, continuity. So you'll see her in lots of different outfits, lots of different wigs, and it kind of adds to the creativity of her character. She's quite feisty. She's loves a gossip.
That one is a terrible gossip. If we were to speak freely in his presence, before long, the whole of England would know our business.
I kind of describe it as kind of Gossip Girl meets Marie Antoinette, that kind of vibe. So it's really, really exciting to be, donning such things.
Chris Van Dusen, who's the creator, he said this is not your granny's period drama. This is sexy, exciting, it's fun. It's definitely Regency, but with like a level of punk. But yeah, Lady Whistledown stirs, I can't say that word, but stuff up massively.
I think, yes, you could say Gossip Girl meets Downton Abbey in that Downton Abbey is a period thing, and we've got this mystery character who's sort of this omniscient narrator who's sort of talking in that sort of kind of Gossip Girl land. But I would say that we're further out there than that, and that's what's really exciting. It's like, yeah, we're in period, and the settings are Regency, and we are seeing some of the most fabulous architecture and grounds and all of that. That's absolutely in period, but then there's this extra swing to it that sort of heightens it above the period.
We do have a character, Lady Whistledown, who is this gossip writer of 19th century Regency London, and she just writes the most scathing things, but she says it with such a beautiful, loving tone and smile, and that's actually going to be narrated by Julie Andrews.
My name is Lady Whistledown. You do not know me, and never shall.
She is incredible. I mean, it's Julie Andrews. What is there to really say about Julie Andrews? She's a legend, and it's been amazing working with her.
I certainly know you.
When I found out Julie Andrews was going to be in the show, I cried. I was standing in a kitchen with my mum, and I was scrolling through Instagram, and I saw her picture, and then just read Lady Whistledown, and I just started completely bawling, and it's amazing. Like, they literally could not have found a better person.
It was quite a pinch me moment when, for the first time, I saw up on the board my picture was not very far away from Julie Andrews. That was really quite exciting.
The social season is upon us. We shall discover which young ladies might succeed at securing a match.
Through here, the thing about Bridgerton is there's loads of Regency balls, and we have these incredible locations and old historic houses. And this one, as you can tell, on Little Peacock, is a bird-themed ball. It's the Prince's Ball in episode 3, I think, of which my character doesn't go. So that's how I can sort of chill out and show you behind the scenes. So my favourite places on set are the areas just off the main action, because it's usually where you can get away with doing all sorts of naughty things, and we as a company, like as a cast, really get on. So you will always find the siblings just off set, like being naughty, giggling, and having a wild time. But there's always this is another section, and this is clearly they're dressing this to look like some sort of, I don't know, gorgeous crystal, Renaissance, bejeweled haven. And of course, this is really similar to my house at home, as all Brits do live in these sweeping staircase halls. If this was MTV Cribs, I'd welcome you to my GCSE art, my Year 11 artwork there. We've got all the monitors here. They're already looking through in different balls that's happening next door. But I'm just going to send you up the staircase. You can go and check out my boudoir. As we know about Bridgerton, it's saucy and steamy. And everything else that you need to see happens upstairs. So please, after you.
If you would have only looked at me this week for longer than 2 seconds, you would have seen. It is you I cannot sacrifice. I burn for you.
It doesn't get more dramatic or dishier. It's a full-on dinner plate, lunch plate, and breakfast a dish. Nothing but dish.
It's very steamy, and it's very all of those things that you would imagine. But it's also Regency England, so it's kind of a new take on that. And I think it's quite exciting to see that world, and yet to see kind of more behind the scenes and more fiery. We've had an intimacy coach, which I've never had before in a job, which is amazing to work with. So she's great. We rehearse everything almost like a stunt. But yeah, it's lucky to have someone like Regé that I work with, who we get on really well with, and we get on really well. And we just make it fun and easy. So it's great.
This is a very steamy program. I know I'm gonna have to warn my mum. We'll just get you the censored version. There's definitely a lot, but do you know what? It's really fun. It's like pure, beautiful escapism, and Penelope too is a character that's a true romantic, and I don't think you see that very much.
These are characters who are confined in a really strict and oppressive society, an area of society, which means that their questioning is extreme. For them to sort of deviate from what's expected of them is a huge thing, and the implications are massive. So the tensions and the stakes are high all the way through. And of course, the first orgasm wasn't in HBO dramas. So they're also finding themselves and their identity, and of course through that is their sexuality and what that means and what the parameters are.
Daphne and Simon have this like really intense will they, won't they thing, which I think we can all relate to. And that's so powerful to watch. And then these sideline stories of,
It's head versus heart, isn't it? Which is that old romantic notion. And Julia Quinn, I think, in the books has written something that everyone can really enjoy and celebrate, the idea of young love and what that is, and finding that person.
I'm not involved in any of the steamy bits. I'll have to have words about that later on. My character isn't in the books. So that's very exciting. So it kind of gives me a little bit of license to play around with Queen Charlotte and the kind of period and what she's about.
It is not the Archbishop. It is the Queen. Perhaps she has taken your rejection of her nephew to heart, or perhaps she is simply bored. Either way, it does not bode well for your daughter's social future, nor any of the Bridgertons for that matter.
How do you keep people watching? You keep them watching by having a balance between the and the And so there's a lot of that going on in this show. There's lots of will they, won't they, there's lots of side stories, there's drama in the settings, there's drama in the look of these spectacular balls, and then you get these really quiet, intimate moments, and they have their own quiet drama too. So yeah, there's a lot going on.
Obviously I'm not in costume yet, so I probably should go and do that, but before I do that, I'm going to show you this is another one of the most incredible sets. And as you can see, these are all flowers that have been hand linked together. Just all the attention to detail on Bridgerton set is just completely wild. and we're completely spoiled. I don't think it's ever going to be like this again. There's always so many different balls and so many different locations that actually I feel like some sort of Renaissance time traveller, like sort of Doctor Who. We just turn up every day and get mind blown. But look at the amazing ceilings and the intricacies. If we're like really into history, we turn up and there's always people on set on like the locations who give you like a full backdrop of all the historic context for the properties that we're in. We've been in the place where Jane Seymour had her child. We were filming there in that very room. In fact, that was our green room, which seemed a bit sacrilegious, but you know, life moves on, everything evolves, and now we're here on the set of Bridgerton.
With all historical period dramas, you always do a lot of research, and you do research constantly all the way through the job. Something comes into a script that you have to look into. But on top of that, because this is a sort of heightened world, you know, me and my team have been looking at other references like Dior, Cecil Beaton even, and the old 1940s period shows, period films, because the look of those is very much in the keeping of where we want to be.
There's so many, like I said, there's so many intricate rules and social structures of the time that it was important to me and to the producers to really have an etiquette person there on set advising us. You know, there was a historian who read every script, and there's an etiquette advisor on set every day to really, you know, talk about, you know, how to sit at a dinner table, how to eat, you know, the rules of courtship, you know, the curtsies and the nods and the greetings. All of those things were really important to capture and stay true to the time period.
Etiquette training, we learned how to bow to the Queen. We were learning about, you know, dinner and correct, and like how you have to always. I had a scene with Luke Newton, who plays Colin, where he came over and we just sort of started talking, and they went, no, it doesn't matter that you've known each other since you were kids. You know, now you're both out in society, so the dynamic changes. But learning about all of that, and we have an amazing historical supervisor called Hannah, and she helps us out. But just the cool things like little dance cards and stuff, and I think because the production design is so incredible, it helps to immerse you in that world very, very quickly. You feel like you're in it.
I always think the thing to hold on to is people are always the same. It doesn't matter what period you put them in. I don't think there's anything different that's ever been. People are always the same. They just sort of socially interact in slightly different ways, but the motivations are still the same. So you may be doing, you know, that, but really what you might be saying is, drop dead. Do you know what I mean? So it's those, you know, it's the nuances of how you use the physicality of the period or whatever, the niceties of the period, but you're still kind of saying the same stuff.
So Julia Quinn wrote these lovely, delightful books called the Bridgerton series. Shonda said she had these books, and I read these books, and I was immediately hooked.
As a woman of colour, how could I not be thrilled to be working for Shonda Rhimes? And I'm also thrilled to say, yeah, do you know what? People of colour existed in this country right back to Roman times. And, you know, Regency London had 20,000 black people. 20,000. That's not a small number. So it's really great to be able to be in a period drama because we were in the period. We just weren't in the drama.
It's one of those dream come true moments. You know, as a jobbing actor, you kind of dream of these moments that will change your life. And for me, I feel very, very blessed and very honoured to be. I think she really draws people in and draws the audiences in. And there's something for everybody, you know, the kind of content and form and everything, I think really reaches out to a worldwide audience.
I mean, from loving their TV shows, they always seem to write really immediate, vital storylines, which are really accessible, and they represent the people that are watching the show.
I feel like this just so happens to be a period drama. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just so happens to look like dead lovely and have this really like fancy backdrop, but with this there's like a shared humanity that I think the audience will find with everyone.
Yeah.